this is our official review. I've been talking to people in the chat for 45 minutes now. Geez, nearly 50 minutes. We haven't even, the show has flown by. Alan, we can now talk about Andor episodes 1 through 4. A lot of other people have reviewed it. Streams talking about it. Let's hear your thoughts on the first 4 episodes, and keep it a little spoiler free on episode 4.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just address the boring part. It is a slow burn. There is not a lot of levity to kind of change tones a little bit, so you're feeling depressed a lot. This reminds me a lot of the Marvel Netflix series. I like Daredevil season 1 and 2. I like Jessica Jones 1 and 2, or 1 mostly. But then when it came to the other series, we're looking 12 to 18 episodes, which is what Andor is. The dark tone, the depressed tone. I mean, I get it. Those were hard to get through, and I fear that that's where Andor is headed. It's just going to be a very depressing story, and it's going to drag itself out over 12 episodes. And I think that's the danger it's in. But at the same time, compared to everything else, everything else that's on Disney Plus and everything we've gotten from Star Wars, this is certainly a much better series. It is written well. The dialogue is amazing. I love the characters. I love I love the fact that every character is distinct from every other. It doesn't feel like, they're just throwing people in for the sake of, needing a character for a certain narrative plot. But everyone's got their motivations. Everyone's got their struggle between wanting to either take down the Empire or to save the Empire. And the lines are being blurred. And so I like the fact that there is nuance, there is interesting storytelling that is going on. And ultimately the question is can this goodwill carry itself throughout all 12 episodes? And to that I say we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think if there was ever a chance, Andor has that chance. I mentioned it before. It's unfortunate the way they're cutting these up. I feel like you do have to sit down and watch the first 2 episodes together to get a good sense of what the show is about. Because that first episode just kind of meanders a bit, and I'm not really sure what's going on until that second episode. So again, I think I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm having a good time, but I'm hanging on here. We'll see how it goes.
Well, as I said in my early reaction, I'm mixed on the show because I feel like I've been burned before with Star Wars. Having said that, I like some of the choices that were made that are probably going to upset normies. And those choices are, there's nothing cute. There's even a droid that isn't cute. It's pretty much functional. And I kind of feel like that's how droids would be in real life. So
it could be called Siri or Alexa.
Right, exactly. I like the fact that it's an ensemble. So, I mean, Cassian Andor he's the lead, but there are other areas of the galaxy that are being explored. I like the more serious tone. I like that there are no member berries, other than starships. And I want to see where it goes. I want to see, I mean, we're 1/3 of the way into it, but I'm, again, like you, Alan, like cautiously optimistic. It's a huge departure from what Star Wars has been, right? There's no humor there. Like I said, there's moments of levity. I like Stellan Skarsgård's character. I think that you'll see that like every character in the show, what's interesting and what's something I really like is that each character kind of has a duality. Every character is hiding a secret, right? Whether it's the secret ambitions of people in the Empire that are trying to work their way up the ladder. I think that's going to be Machiavellian. I think that, you've got the Stellan Skarsgård's character is revealed like to be a dealer of antiquities throughout the universe who has a relationship with Mon Mothma. You're going to see that unfold in episode 4.
Well, and then Cassian, he murders 2 people without any, to protect himself. There's no noble deed behind it. He murders 2 people.
And these aren't just like, masked stormtroopers, right? People. Yeah. Right. They're not, and they're not like, so it's, I find it, this is definitely a more adult take on the Star Wars universe, and I'd like to see where it goes, but it has to pay off.
Mhm.
Okay. I almost feel, and I hope it doesn't get to this, because a lot of the Marvel Disney Plus series have been this, where when you finally see the whole show, you're like, oh, it's just a movie. It's like a 4-hour movie. And so things drag and are stretched out.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't feel that way. I'm glad that the episodes are short, 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that was the problem with especially the last seasons of Daredevil and Iron Power Man, Luke Cage.
Right.
It felt like a movie that was dragged out way too long.
Yeah.
And I fear that that's where we're headed with this.
Well, let's hope it's not. I don't know that we'll cover Andor week to week, because I feel like it's gonna unfold slowly. I'll actually leave it to the chat. If the chat would like us to talk about it every week, we can spend 10 minutes talking about the latest episode, or we can just wait until the series is done. I feel like that's a better way to review a series, is to we got to see the whole thing. This is why I think that the Rotten Tomatoes scores always get messed up, because it appears as if, and we're not part of that score, by the way. We're not part of the, we don't really, I mean, we review
we don't do episodics or television.
We don't do episodics or TV, but I look at those scores, and of course they're based on the first few episodes, which are supposed to be the best ones. So I will say with Andor, it had better like amp up the stakes, right? We kind of know they're planning a heist. They're planning a big job. Okay, let's see where it goes. Are we going to lose some people? Who are some people going to die? What's really at stake? Is there going to be people who turn? But what's interesting, what I like about the characters, is they all have ulterior motives. Every single one has like a dual identity or ulterior motives that they're hiding. And so I like that aspect of the show. I just wonder, and I asked this question aloud, if this wasn't Star Wars, if it was generic sci-fi show, would you care? Meaning, just change the spaceships, change like the wardrobe of some of the characters. Do you care? Do you care if it was just some generic science fiction show and not set in the Star Wars universe? And I asked myself that question, and I'm not really sure. I'm not sure that I would be as interested.
Let me ask you this. What if this came out after the first season of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus?
That would be interesting. I think that would be interesting. I think part of it is that, like, and Lucasfilm, they seem to be unapologetic with a lot of the mistakes that they make. I mean, probably the greatest mistake, it might be the greatest mistake in movie history, is not uniting Han, Luke, and Leia in a movie. Like, you had them, The Force Awakens should have been the bridge from Return of the Jedi to, the sort of last adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia and Lando. And then it should have been handed off to new characters. That's fine. We get it. But The Force Awakens.
Instead, they retold the Death Star story.
What's that?
The Force Awakens essentially retold the Death Star story as the bridge.
Star Killer base. So lame. Yeah. I'm not a fan of The Force Awakens.
But in terms of, if you had followed the Mandalorian season 1 up with Andor, at least you have a momentum of not so bad Star Wars content coming out of Disney Plus. But then you had, we talked to death about how bad Kenobi was. Kenobi did Disney Plus no favors, and did Andor no favors. I no momentum.
Yeah, Boba Fett was. I couldn't finish it. I didn't. I watched a few episodes, and I thought it was the first episode. I thought was dumb, and the fact that it had his helmet off so often was like, well, who is it? Like what? Yeah, and he even talked too much. That's a weird thing to say, but I believe Boba Fett in the original trilogy has about 4 minutes of screen time. Is it 4 minutes? Very short, but he left such an impression. There's something to be said for keeping something mysterious. But Andor,
I think the actor had said in an interview that he said that Boba Fett never should have talked, and that the Ming-Na character should have been doing all the talking for him.
Ming-Na Wen?
Yeah.
I like her.
No, I didn't watch it, so I don't know their the characters' names.
But I think bottom line on Andor is it's a very unique take on the Star Wars universe that I think is going to divide the fandom. What else is new? Star Wars fandom divided. What else is new? It's not for everybody. It's definitely not for kids. I think kids will be bored out of their gourd, whereas I believe kids would like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it's actually made for kids. That's, I think, part of the weakness of it. Now, here's what's interesting. If the Kenobi series, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, had been like Andor, like a serious take with Obi-Wan never even seeing Vader, having one exchange where they don't have a lightsaber duel, where basically maybe the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan meet and Vader says something to the effect of, if you ever leave this planet, I will destroy you. If you ever leave Tatooine. Tatooine was a tragic place for Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. It was
Tatooine is,
exile.
it's where he was forced to work retail as a slave from Watto.
So what you're really saying is, if they had made Kenobi better, would it be better?
Well, if they had just changed the tone, I think the tone was awful. I think the breaking canon was awful. I thought the story was awful.
Yeah, the story was everything. The story was the central problem of Kenobi. Everything around it was a side effect of that. The story itself was horrible and could not save the series. You had to rewrite it. Absolutely had to rewrite the entire story of Kenobi.
But are we going to get some member berries in Andor? Are we going to see Watto with the junk dealer? I found this little kid Anakin.
Well,
Republic
technically, you could get Riva in Andor.
Oh my God, we could. And Jar Jar. I pointed that out. I posted on our
Ambassador Jar Jar.
I posted on the YouTube channel. Well, there's stuff on Coruscant with Mon Mothma. Jar Jar might be in the background. Yeah. Just you wait. Just you wait. Here comes. I mean, I think a lot of people are saying they like the fact that there's no member berries. That's what I've heard. But I'm at least interested to continue watching Andor. We're going to go to comments quickly, and then we're going to talk about. We'll talk about Quantum Leap. I haven't seen it, but you have. 8 Chernobog for $4.99. If not, oh wait,
yeah, we're saving that.
No, that's the question we're saving for Greg Matola. Sorry about that. CD Stein 69 for $4.99. Chris, you know you're doing it right when both sides go after you. Sometimes being honest will hurt those that just want an echo chamber. Keep it up. Well, thank you for that. It's just that every time I go to chat with, I'm just like talking to like on streams where I'm enjoying the conversation. And then people coming after me and fuck that guy. And okay, well, all right. I guess that's
read our My Son Hunter comments on Instagram and then read it on our website, and you'll see both sides just coming after us.
Yeah. Ferd to the Future says, where the F is episode 4? Episode 4, Alan and I saw it's not out yet. It's not out yet. So sorry, Ferd to the Future. We should have been more clear on that. Blah, blah. Says slow burn can be a good thing. It can be a really bad thing if it doesn't build to something and if it isn't immersive. Agree. It's got to build. There's got to be like, it doesn't happen in episode 4. You see it's building towards larger events and those better be awesome. But I really like the look of it. It probably is the best looking Star Wars that has been made from Disney Lucasfilm.
Yeah. And I think you could say it's immersive as well.
Infinite Main for 5 says, not defending the negative reviewers, but people do what sells and they get the highest views. We're terrible at that. As you notice from the Film Threat YouTube channel, like we're just, I don't know. Like I feel like I want to tell you my honest opinion. And, sometimes our thumbnails will get a little incendiary, but mostly it represents our honest opinion. So, yeah. I mean, So look, we're a different kind of channel. So someone in the chat says the world building cinematography for Andor looks lived in and fantastic. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like it looked better than the Star Wars sequels. This show looked better than that. It felt larger in scale. It felt just like I want to see where it goes. So Solomon Thornton, The show is interesting. I just wish they have used some cinematic device for Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan looks like a low quality show. In comparison, oh my God, Obi-Wan looks like it was made by amateur, real amateurs. I can't even say filmmakers, because a lot of the Star Wars fan films I've seen are great. They're very good.
If you watch Kenobi again, you'll see it was shot under COVID protocols.
Was it?
No one's rarely 6 feet within each other.
Yeah.
The sets have very few people on them.
Otio says episode 1 just stops randomly. I love the return of the British, though. At least the show feels like it's trying to be good. Yes, I was going to say, I didn't mention it before. The British accents kind of feels more Star Wars to me, like that sort of old school. And the casting of even the most minor characters is very good. So, Want biscuits. If Andor is depressing, that's fine, because then it fits with the realities of the struggle of rebellion. Nothing should be hopeful until Luke Skywalker. That was the point. Want biscuits? Great point. I love that. Andor sounds like it's perfect for watching on an airplane, says Patrick Lemire. Yeah, there you go. You got a long
You got a very long flight, yeah.
All twisted up. I won't be happy till I see the Greedo series where he is kind of like Clark Griswold. Oh my God, that would be hysterical. CD Stein 69 is a member. Rogue One didn't have very bright moments, so I'm not surprised by the tone. Only thing I want is at some point it brings at least a glimmer of hope like its predecessor. And Holmes, Greek Geek for 5. Would you still root for your sports team after they call you racist and tell you to leave the stadium? That's a more accurate comparison. I hate to agree with you. But okay, Holmes, Greek Geek, if you go to the community tab on the Film Threat YouTube channel, I posted a picture, and I still have this box of galactic watermelon flavored Jar Jar fruit roll-ups. And I remember when they came out and Lucasfilm was accused of being racist for putting out the flavored galactic watermelon. Look it up. I remember when the stories came out in, I believe it was 1999. But yeah, no, you're right. Holmes, Greek Geek. Yeah, it is disheartening. So yeah, I wish that it doesn't seem like they're listening to the fans in the way that they should. DTX Hero 21 for 1999. I recommend either A, reviewing Andor all at once it's over, or B, review it no more often than once a month. We're expecting some 20-something episodes, so this probably should be judged 4+ episodes at a time like today. Yeah, maybe we should do that, Alan. We'll do, when episode 8 drops, then we'll review, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, and then 12.
And then we'll do 9 through 12.
Yeah.
Thanks, DTX Hero, and thank you for the 1999. I got to get some more water, Alan.
Okay.
Can you take over for a
Yeah.
second while I grab some? I have to get a refill.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
All right. Let's go through some more. Fresh news 247. So Han Solo kills a guy in a bar and nothing happens. Well, happened on Tatooine, so that explains that. The thing that kicks off the show makes no sense. We need a clear knowledge of how the law works in this universe. Yeah, I mean, again, I think you do have to kind of expand it, and I don't know if you've seen episode 2 or not, but there are consequences to those actions, and it happens in episode 2 in terms of the investigation. I mean, because episode 2, 3, and 4, you have the law enforcement on whatever planet they're on. Sorry, don't know. But that is a big part of the investigation. Two men are dead, and they think Cassian Andor did it. So there is a payoff and investigation there. But I do get your point. It's like things have to, when you present something in a show, there has to be some kind of resolution to that or consequence to that. You just can't do things for the sake of doing things. And I think I think this is an exception where it does actually happen. Let's see. Patrick Lemire, Disney had all of that EU to draw on and threw it away and headed off to the story group.
Yeah, I think that was a huge mistake. There are so many great stories in the EU. They could have built upon that.
Yeah.
So, someone in the chat says pamphlet of Boba Fett is the She-Hulk of Star Wars. Lol. Disney also had all 3 of Lucas's treatments for episodes 7 through 9 and promptly trashed it. Their hubris is off the charts, says Womp Biscuits. And here we go.
There was a sense that Lucas thought that they were gonna do those with minor edits. And
yeah, he thought that when he was selling it to Disney and putting Kathleen Kennedy in charge, that they were going to use at least his outlines as a guide. My understanding is actually the way Luke was written in his outlines is kind of the model for how Luke is in The Last Jedi. That's just what I've read. It's just what I've read. Not saying it's 100% true. But hey, Film Threat, lots of comments in the chat to subscribe and bring us up to 50,000. YouTube, for some reason, keeps hiding those comments. I smell a conspiracy against Film Threat. Oh my God, I'm dying to do a video that our channel is under attack. I'm dying. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? John Wahlbecker for 10. Why can't we accept the nuance that studios and actors that have called out racists and other bad actors are responding to the actual racists and bad actors, not all fans? Why are we not all fansing this? Yeah, that makes sense, but I don't think they are. It's
well, the way they say it.
It's the implication is it's all the fans are racist.
Look, if anyone goes on Twitter, you're going to get a racist comment coming back, or some woke nonsense coming back at you. But you can't say that that's everybody on Twitter. You can't say that's what everyone thinks. You're just calling out the worst of the comments.
I think that even highlighting it actually, I feel like encourages it.
Yeah.
Because it's people getting attention. It's kind of like why they don't, certain types of criminals, they don't show pictures of them because they don't want people to feel like it's a way to get instant fame. But it might be just like in the past when people have said awful things about me, I usually just repost it and then kind of shame the person. Although there's such a lack of people feeling shame about anything these days. You see that shop teacher with the big boobs? Like, where's your sense of shame? Where's your sense of shame, or what would be appropriate behavior in front of high school students? Where is your sense of shame and common sense? Make common sense great again. I would really love to see that. But yeah, no, John, that's a fair point. I think those accounts should be reported if they're actual threats. They should be 100% be reported. And,
or worse, why does the mainstream media quote these people, quote the worst of the worst? Why are they getting the attention? Because they'll always put it some tweet of someone who has no followers and that no one knows and no one gives a damn what their opinions are.
Yeah. Pilgrim Media for 2 says, with Andor, is it first or second degree homicide?
Second degree.
Second degree. All right.
Yeah, it has to be premeditation in first degree. Right.
Yeah. Turo. Hey, Turo. Turo's a member. We'll check out the stuff in the, I'm going to post that Harry Styles video from Don't Worry, Darling. I'll post it. I'm going to post it. So some more comments here before we move on. Alan Horkin, Twitter is a bad neighborhood. Bad luck if you get mugged, but partly your fault too for being there. That I would agree. I really don't use Twitter all that much. I use it to promote things that I do, but I don't use it. I use it rarely. I should just read what's in my Twitter drafts. I've got like probably 20 different tweets in my drafts that I'm like, well, one day maybe I'll say these things. Amanda Nowicki, I stopped watching interviews with casts of films or TV shows. Smart, very smart. I do the same thing. I try to ignore them because what they say ends up turning me off from watching something else. It's true. And then Shuxy says some of the racist comments could actually be self-manufactured by Disney. It's not that hard to do. Yeah, whenever I look at like people that do that, it's like usually like not a real person. They've got 34 followers. Most of their timeline is retweets. So I'm like, it's people that troll reply. I get a bot vibe from a lot of these people saying these awful things.
Plus, if they can't take criticism, then they can't change. They can't become better. They can't do things better. So that's why they can't take responsibility for the crap they put out.
Yeah. Oh wait, Oteo. The tone was Looney Tunes cartoons. I'm surprised nobody dropped an anvil on Reva. Yeah. The sneaking out with like Obi-Wan with Leia under like his trench coat was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. Period. Anything Star Wars.
Yeah. And did you notice by the end of that episode, her and Kenobi punched the time clock out together?
It was just bad. Bad. Let's get through these real quick. We got like 6 more comments here. Patrick Lemire, I've never seen a screenshot of any of these hate tweets. Same. Where are they? Same thing with Rings of Power. I would not put the use of sock puppet accounts either. It never seems to happen when the film is good. Yeah, when the film is good, it doesn't happen. Luke Skywanker. By the way, I love your avatar picture. That was a picture that came out around early Star Wars PR materials, and I don't think that Mark Hamill ever wore that, right? Am I wrong about that? Hopefully Andor proves to Disney that bringing in great writers is the key to making great things in the future. Tony Gilroy is a great writer. Turo says, I take responsibility for all my bad jokes. Sorry, Alan.
That's okay, Turo. You're one of the good ones.
Nate Winchester, at this point, you wonder why Disney doesn't just hire fan filmmakers to work for them. They have hired, I know, for example, people that I know who like there's an R2D2 Builders Club, and they hired people for Force Awakens from the R2D2 Builders Club to build a lot of the droids in it. So they have gone to fandom before. Also members of the 501st. Someone in the chat says, I've never seen an honest YouTuber with 1 million+ subs. Well, it's just time for Alan and I to be dishonest.
Yeah, we're the first. We'll be the first.
Yeah.
We're almost at 10,000. Or 50,000. Sorry. We're almost at
closing in on 50,000, but our growth is, we're inching up there slowly but surely, all with your help. And we appreciate it. Thank you. Patrick Lemire. Kenobi was written like kids playing with action figures in the dirt. Let's make Kenobi and Vader fight. Yay. You know what it reminds me of? Look up this video after this. The Onion did a video where they interviewed the young screenwriter behind Fast and the Furious. And it's literally like a 7-year-old kid playing with Hot Wheels. And okay, just look it up. It's the Onion Fast and Furious screenwriter. Look that video up, or maybe Glanuccio can find it and pop it in the chat. That is one of my all-time favorite. It is like that. It's literally like someone playing with toys. And Alan Horkins says, I'd watch Andor if it was a low-budget British spy show. It isn't a science fiction action, sci-fi action serial though, like the original trilogy or The Mandalorian. It's I think that's what's going to surprise people. People who continue to watch it. Slaction Hero, do you think the only reason that Kathleen Kennedy is still head of Lucasfilm is because Disney is scared of firing a woman? That is one of the reasons. That, I believe, is one of the reasons. And truth be told, if you look at her track record before Lucasfilm, she's been involved in some of the biggest blockbuster Hollywood movies that you know. So yeah, I just think that she needs to be relegated more to a desk job and have creative directors running the show. That would just be my thought on that. And then,
I mean, she should really be looking at the business of Lucasfilm and how it makes money and guiding them in terms of making more money, making collectibles people want to have, and making, understanding the audience and understanding the fans and giving them what they want. That's what her job really should be.
Alan, I heart you.
I heart
you, Alan. There you go.